That's regarding the Philippine. Why the turn of events? It also has to do with some rare earth elements in under the ground in Philippines. But
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think?
So US right now is on a global hunt for rare earth materials because they're really getting squeezed by the China's rare earth export control.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so because China mines about somewhere between 60 to 70% of
Wow.
the world's rare earth supply, but more importantly, China refines over 90% of the rare earth. So right now, they're like, okay, no problem. We're just gonna scrap our environmental regulation in US. We're just gonna dig, baby, dig, drill, baby, drill, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's not that simple.
Yeah.
You can dig those rare earth out of the earth crust, but you still need to refine it to make it usable as like heat resistant magnet, which goes into everything from cars to F-35 to
Yeah.
missiles. But all that refining technology and machine tools is all in China. This is why U.S. actually have a big operation rare earth mine called Mountain Pass mine in California. It's right next to Vegas.
Yeah.
The Mountain Pass mine, one of the biggest rare earth mine in U.S. Right now, everything they dig out of California, they ship it to China to
Mm.
process into magnets. So uh, like that, it's gonna take them decades to try to
Yeah.
catch up because what happened was when China got uh, in the 1980s. Back in the 1970s, U.S. was actually a world leader in production of rare earth
Yeah.
and processing of rare earth. Mountain Pass mine is the biggest, but at that time, the Wall Street crank out the numbers like, this
Yeah.
is low margin stuff. We don't want to be doing this, and it's too much pollution. Let's offsource our pollution to China, to Asia. At that time, China was desperately poor. I grew up in China in
Mm.
1980s. I knew, China was doing everything, trying to climb the technology tree. So China willingly take on the dirty job of digging out the
Yeah.
rare earth. And the Americans even send out people China. Then they say, okay, now we don't just want to be a exporter of raw commodities. We want to build a refining capability as well. And the Americans are like, oh, no problem. We'll even help you. We'll even help you to set up those operations because, like, for Wall Street, rare earth, even though they're very crucial, but they actually don't fetch a lot of. The price is not very high, right? So for Wall Street, this is like low margin stuff. We don't need this crap. Let China handle or do all the dirty
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
So from starting 1980s, China started to build both the mining capability and the refining capability. Now it's 40 years later. All the evolutions of the new technology involved in rare earth refining happened in China.
China.
All the
Yeah.
all the new technology is Chinese, and one especially the application of the rare earth magnets is for example, in electric cars, right?
Yeah.
And in not even ice cars, in the car motor, because the car motor, they generate a lot of heat,
Mm-hmm.
and normal magnets, they get demagnetized under heat. But rare earth materials special property is that you can use it to make heat resistant magnets, and that's
Mm.
why all cars, they need those magnets, and they can't get those magnets. They have to move their operation to China. So China relaxed the export control on rare earth supplies to U.S. car companies for 6 months, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But they did not relax the control to U.S. military industrial complex. So U.S. is now trying to do a China. They're trying to implement a Chinese style industrial policy, but they do
Oh.
it with American characteristic. So Pentagon just invested hundreds of millions of dollars into the Mountain Pass mine in California. This is what
Oh.
Washington calls a public-private partnership, right? So the U.S. government is now pushing out piles of money to MP Materials, which operates the mines in California. Says, okay, we don't care. We're gonna promote your production. So we know the rare earth material, the price is not very high, but we'll guarantee you will have a customer, which is a U.S. military, because U.S. military, they need that stuff to make missiles, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, they can dig out of the earth, no problem, but they still right now they still the big bottleneck is still refining. They still depend on China for refining, and right now any companies that want to get their hands on Chinese rare earth or Chinese rare earth heat resistance magnet, they have to file application to the Chinese Commerce Ministry. Says, please, sir, can I have some rare earth for the next 6 months? and they're subject for renewal every 6 months. Chinese Commerce Ministry will monitor you, make sure you are not diverting those supply to the Chinese military. Otherwise, your license is not gonna get renewed. And also, military equipment actually require a different grade of rare earth. Like the heat resistant magnets used in jet fighter plane, submarine cobalt. It's a different grade than what goes into the normal civilian car use. So China can easily control that, and this is why U.S. is doing like a global Easter hunt for rare earth material right now. Like one of the reason U.S. step in to mediate between the conflict between Congo and Rwanda is so for U.S. to secure the rare earth mining rights in Congo. But again, even if they dig out of the Congo, they still have to ship it to China to refine it. It's gonna take them at least 10 years to acquire the latest rare earth refining technology. If they somehow are able to poach some Chinese engineers, industrial espionage, whatever, but it will still take them 10 years, at least 10 years, because you need to set up the factory. You need to get your hands on the equipment, which right now is all produced in China. and then you need to get some engineers who know how to do this stuff, and they're mostly Chinese. And then maybe in 10 years you can get your shops running. In the meantime, your stockpile is dwindling because your stockpile has already been depleted in Ukraine and now in Israel. NATO already complained their stockpile is at the very dangerously low level, and they face a real supply constraint because of the Chinese rare earth export control.
Very, very interesting. Well, speaking of this, because I was aware of the 90% controlled by the Chinese regarding the rare earth because of the refinement, and I know in the US, we don't have the infrastructure for this, let alone the brain power that will do all this.
The US government is structured to funnel money toward the top 1%. It's not structured to do industrial policy, to invest in infrastructure, to invest in education. Forget about it. That will take years to see fruits. But that's way too long. That's way beyond the election cycle, right? Right now, everything is about the short term, who wins the election. And this is why they always go for like divisive social issues, right? Rather than tackle real problem of the whole structural economic decline. Because no one wants to touch that. That's actually hard work, right? Why not to take a stance on some social issue where all you have to say is I'm for this, I'm against this, and then you are guaranteed at least 50% of the support from the public.
Is this means, Carl, and this is like a really a fundamental question regarding the system, is this means that our system is a failure in your opinion?
Well, I mean, I think for people can see, the MAGA crowd, the reason that propelled Trump into the office is because they understand fundamentally the system. I mean, why would there be slogans of cleaning out the swamp, to get rid of the deep state? Because everybody in U.S. have now come to the realization the system is not working it's working great for the billionaires, but it's not working for the average Joe. But Trump is not the solution, unfortunately.
No, here's the problem.
like the Chinese geopolitical analyst Zhang Weiwei said, Trump, he understands the problem, but his solution only make things much, much worse.
Well, well said. Well said. And also, one thing I am aware of, and I'll quickly share this with the community. A lot of academia here in the U.S. are really considering teaching in China. I'm one of those down the road, but I'm talking about the for example, the scientists, the professors of Chinese ethnicity. They are returning back, and we're talking about top scientists, top researchers in mathematics, in quantum computing, in physics, you name it. They are returning back to China. So, and I am aware even of some Americans. Yeah, I'm aware of some Americans.
And even non-ethnic.
Yeah, that is correct.
Even non-ethnic Chinese are now going to China because China is now the land of opportunity. Like the Chinese dream, is where the American dream used to be.
That is correct. I couldn't agree more. So